Some teachers are looking for high interest, low vocabulary books for their students. Follett Shelf is a great place to go to find high interest, low vocabulary books, and these are ebooks. There are a couple of ways that you can get at those ebooks. One way is to go to your laptop or your desktop and go to Keystone's website, click on the online resources button, then go down to on the left side and choose Follett ebooks and log in that way. But what I'm going to show you today is how to access the same shelf using the app, and it's called Destiny Discover. And um, the purpose for the app, the advantage of using the app is that once you download to your device, then you can read those books without having an internet connection. And so the first thing I'm going to do is notice on the bottom menu bar there's a blue icon that's called Discover, and that's the Destiny Discover app. And I'm going to go ahead and click on it and open it up. And mine, notice, has already been selected as Keystone Secondary Shelf. But when you first do this, yours probably won't look like that. And so what you need to do is click on the lock on the right side. Sorry, there we go. And you need to choose your location. So I'm going to scroll until I find Iowa. And then where it says schools in Iowa, don't type your school. That's a little misleading. But type in Keystone, because Keystone is the one who owns the shelf. And now you could choose the elementary or secondary shelf, but I'm going to choose the secondary shelf today because those high-low books are on the secondary shelf. And then I'm going to choose login. And then it comes up to a username and password screen, and this is where you need your individual Follett ebook login. It's not your generic online resources login. If you don't know what this login is, you can ask your school teacher librarian, and if she or he doesn't know, then give Keystone a call and we'll be glad to either set you up with one or locate yours. So I'm going to go ahead and click on username, and I'm going to type mine in. And you won't want to use mine because mine's a trial and I don't have full access to everything like you would. And then click submit. It's synchronizing my checkouts. And so what that means is that, let's say I was on a laptop and I checked out a book. Now it's going to show up on my iPad as long as I log in with the same login. And so notice over in the top right it says you recently read The River, which is what I did. So I could click on that and finish reading or keep reading there. Or I could choose some other titles. Notice there are quite a few listed here. We actually have over 1,000 titles and multiple more copies on the secondary shelf. And then over on the left, I could narrow my search down by, notice AR, reading counts, my Lexile, and different other pieces. But at the top, I'm going to click in the search box, and I'm really looking for high interest, low vocabulary. So I know that that's what it's cataloged under. So that's what I'm going to type in, and I do have to make sure that I spell correctly because it looks for exactly what I type in. High interest, low vocabulary, and I'm going to hit the return button, and it's searching. It might take just a second. Okay, now there it is. Notice it says titles up towards the top in the middle, 170. So it found 170 titles that are high interest, low vocabulary. So I could scroll through these to look at different examples. And I'm going to choose one that I haven't selected before, and I think I'll choose Special Edward. Now, when I tapped on it one time, I've got two options. I can open the book, or I can click on the eye in the lower right corner, and it'll bring up the information. So in this example, over on the right, there are 5 copies, and all 5 are available. If I click that green box that says check out and hold, I can check out the book, because right now all I'm doing is going to the shelf and looking at the book. Notice in the middle it says the reading grade level is 4 and the interest grade level is 5 through 8. Now in this example, grade 4 is actually pretty high. If you look at a lot of these, you'll find out that they're reading level grade 2 and the interest level might be young adult. This happens to be one that's a little bit closer in age. There's the Lexile level, other information about it. And then I noticed it's cataloged under read-alongs, which means that there's audio with it too. So I like what I see here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that X, and I think I'll maybe choose that book after I look at this for a while. So I'll click it again. I guess I could have clicked open. This time I will tap on open because I know all about the book. And notice here the cover appears. Then I could click on the arrow on the right and to turn pages. And here's page 1. Now I could do a couple things. Notice over in the bottom left I could hit play and it'll read out loud to me. Up at the top I can click on download and that will download it to my iPad. It won't be a special icon, but it will be downloaded within the Destiny Discover app. You won't be able to find it anywhere, but this is how you can read it without needing an internet connection. But I really want to do some adjusting here. So you know how when we see the letter A's, usually that means display. So this gives us some options. Notice by default I have the sepia option checked, so I've got some beige coloring on each side. If I don't like that, I could choose white or black, depending on, sometimes I like the sepia because it's a little easier on my eyes, and so some students will have certain preferences. Depending on the device and the book, you can play around with these settings to get the text adjusted just the way you like it. And again, it depends. If I click on 2-page spread, then I'll have, and you can see I've got 2 pages, and I might like to read 2 pages at once. If that bothers me, I can go back to 1 page, and then I can zoom in, for example. So I can click zoom in. If I click zoom in too many times, I'll have it way too big. So I've only clicked twice. I'll close that out. And then I can scroll, and so you can see there's a little bit less text on each page. Turn the page again. And again, it depends on how I like my formatting to look. And I'll hit play on this one. This is a computer-generated voice. Takes a little bit.
For Eric Walter's spot beside my friend Cody. He glanced up and gave me a little nod as I settled into my seat. I started to look at the test.
And I'm going to pause that. So now let's say I want to make some adjustments. So I go to my A. Oh, I go to my, not my A, sorry. I go to my book menu, and I go down to text to speech. And this is where I can change the voice if I'd like to. You saw where I got options. Or I can check the speed. So if that is too fast, I can slow it down and click apply. And then click play again.
First page was all algebra to show your work sort that I hated. Wasn't it hard enough to get the right answer without having to show how you did it? It eliminated the element of luck.
And I'll actually stop there so it actually stops. So that's how that works. And then I can click on the back button. And that'll take me back to the main screen. And then there's my book. Now, one thing I could do too is I could, now I'm all the way back to the beginning. So if I wanted to go back to that high interest low vocabulary, I would have to click search again. But let's say I click there and I want to continue. I can open that book, and if I log in again, it'll be recently read. And it will, most of the time it starts where I left off. One thing I like to do, I can click on that bookmark at the top and notice when it's full, then I've made a bookmark. So then that's where I will start next time. And now I'm back. If I want to log out up at the top, log out of Follett shelf. Any questions, please give Keystone a call.